Hi friends, Sarah here from Sunset Bow with another unboxing and first impressions video of a new deck because it seems like those are kind of the only things that I do anymore. But basically what happened recently is that there were a couple of decks that I had added to my collection that I decided didn't really fit, and I decided I kind of wanted to let them go, and so I was able to, in exchange, kind of add a few new ones. So so this is one of the new ones that I ended up buying. And this is the Darkness of Light Tarot. This had been on my wish list for kind of a long time, but I had recently, it wasn't like the highest deck on my wish list. And then I recently saw the creator say in one of the Facebook groups that he was kind of running low on stock, wasn't sure if he was going to do another edition or not. So I decided to sort of, I went to his website to look and take a look at it and see if this was one I wanted to grab. And weirdly enough, it just sort of reached out to me. You know how every once in a while that kind of happens, where a deck that you've been sort of so on for a while just suddenly really looks great to you and feels inspiring and makes you feel like you want to have it and do readings with it. And that's sort of how I felt when I looked at the pictures of this one again. I've actually had somebody do a reading for me with this deck before. I got a reading once from Kelly from the Truth and Story, and this was the deck she used for the reading. And so it has this, and the reading was amazing, and so it has this kind of near and dear place in my heart, despite the fact that I didn't own it and I wasn't sure whether I wanted to own it. But for some reason, this most recent time that I looked at it, it just kind of hit me that I wanted it. And I've been sort of struggling a little bit since I was so sick with kind of getting back into tarot. I don't know what it was, but having been kind of out of commission for a month sort of got me out of the routine and out of the habit. Not that tarot is really a routine or a habit, but you know what I mean. And so this deck sort of kind of made my fingers tingle, like I wanted to shuffle it and I wanted to play with it and I wanted to do readings with it. And so something about it just, like I said, even though it wasn't the highest on my wish list, it just sort of reached out and grabbed me right in that moment. And so I went ahead and I ordered it. So I'm going to go ahead and open it up. And it was shipped in quite a nice box here. So I know that this deck is very, very kind of Rider-Waite-Smith based. And, I've seen a lot of images from it before, obviously, and I've even had a reading done for me with it. So I'm pretty familiar with the imagery, but yeah, just something about it right in that moment. I just really wanted it. So here we go. So it comes with this nice bag with this, kind of emblem printed on it. So it's just a sort of cotton bag, it feels like. And then I've got a little note here, the Darkness of Light Tarot from the creator. And oh, this is kind of cool. It he gives you some indication of the best ways to open the box and ways to keep it nice and all that kind of stuff. So so that's kind of cool. And then here is the deck. I've got a little, it's wrapped in some foam here. So, and I know this deck just comes in a tuck box, so, which makes it nice that he includes the bag to put it in. So I might actually end up finding a box for it because I tend to like to keep decks in boxes rather than in bags. But so here we go. So it is signed, and go ahead and pull out the card. So it is a nice tuck box, but again, I don't love keeping cards in tuck boxes because they just tend to get destroyed. So I'm sure I probably won't end up keeping it in there. All right, so here is the deck. So there's a little top card here. Darkness of Light Tarot, designed and illustrated by Tony DeMoro, published by Wavelength Laboratory. So just a little title card. Here's the backing. So it's really cool looking. It's like two wolves facing in opposite directions, so it is reversible, which doesn't really matter to me, but it's nice for other people, I think. And then it looks like there is also a little ending card here that just says in darkness and in light and gives the year. So I'm going to go ahead and put that over there. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and get a little closer here with my camera and start looking through. And so this is the second edition of this deck, and I understand, I mean, which is, you know, I don't think the first edition is available anymore. And I understand with the second edition that, you know, the colors have been brightened up a little bit. The tone was changed. It's a little bit more of a brown or sepia tone in the majors, and then it was also made borderless on the sides, which I find really, really nice. I definitely prefer that. So, and I just, this deck just spoke to me so immediately when I was looking at it online, and it is again now in person. It's just so beautiful. And I think it's kind of cool that the titles are in Italian. I do like that. So start with the Fool, the Magician, and yeah, this deck feels like it's going to be a really good deck to read, not just for me, but for other people, because I think that it's, you know, it's very Rider-Waite-Smith in its imagery, and it feels kind of accessible, so I really like that. Here's the High Priestess, the Empress. Yeah, this is really beautiful. I think it's wonderful. I really like just the looks of the people, and I had watched, again, I think it was Kelly from The Truth and Story who had done a comparison video of the first edition and the second edition, and I really strongly prefer the second edition, so it's probably just as well that I waited so long to get this and kind of had it on my wish list for a long time and debated back and forth. The Lovers. This Chariot card is awesome. She's amazing. Beautiful Strength card. And I love this Hermit card too. I love how he's like looking out over a landscape. I really like that. Oh, and I love this Wheel of Fortune. This is such a cool, I love it when Wheel of Fortune cards depict spinning wheels, or the fates, like they do in the Mythic Tarot, or I'm a crafty person. I crochet, I love yarn, and I don't know how to spin, but I'd love to learn how to spin, and so this is one of my favorite types of images for the Wheel of Fortune, is this image of somebody actually spinning yarn or thread. I love that. Justice. We've got Justice at 11 and Strength at 8 in this deck, so very Rider-Waite-Smith. The Hanged Man. I'm going to have to find out what that actually translates to, because I don't actually know. Death. It's a cool Death card. Temperance. The Devil. Yeah, I mean, and this is just, it's so Rider-Waite-Smith, but it has just a really cool feel to it, and you know, the artwork, it just has this very particular kind of feel to it that I think is really, it really kind of draws you in. Despite it being so dark, it feels inviting. The Star. The Moon. I kind of like that it's actually a two-headed dog here, you know, as opposed to the dog and the wolf of the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith moon image, just because it gets even closer to that idea that dog and that wolf bring forth of them being sort of two sides of a personality, or your sort of your conscious mind, your subconscious mind, the part of you that operates on instinct and the part of you that's more, you know, domesticated. So, and having it be a two-headed dog kind of even gets to that a little more, which I like. And then there's a little dog in the sun. Justice. And the world, or the universe. I like that there are planets in the corners. I really like that image. It's beautiful. So the sword suit is just called Blades. And that is a beautiful, beautiful Two of Blades. And I really like this, this 3. It really gets at the grief. You know, I know that the heart pierced by the swords is a very traditional image, you know, going back hundreds and hundreds of years. But I really like, I really like this, just a depiction that gets more at the sort of grief, feeling of grief. The 4. The 5. The 6. I do like this as the 6. You know, it almost looks like she's walking on ice, but then, you know, looking out over this water, and there are these birds flying away, and she's sort of looking out towards you know, a different future ahead of her. Here's the 7. This guy looks very sneaky. The 8. Oh, this deck is beautiful. I love it. I really love it. The 9. And the 10. I mean, again, a lot of this imagery is just extremely traditional. The Page. I actually like how the page's face is kind of undefined. That kind of gives you a sense of a page, you know, where you're sort of not a fully formed personality yet necessarily when you're a young person or when you're just sort of starting out on a journey. The Knight of Swords. The Queen. She is cool. What a badass. I like her. And the King. Awesome. So here is the Ace of Wands, and then it gets into like there's almost kind of a purple cast in all of the swords cards. It's actually, if you know, if you go back and look, it's sort of brown in the majors, and then getting into the swords, it all turns kind of purple, and then there's definitely this sort of pink undertone in all of the art for the wands, which is lovely. So I like that too. I like that there's that sort of elemental distinction between the different suits. Here's the 2, again, very traditional. The 3. The 4. I love that as a 4 of Wands. That's so lovely. It, you know, it gives you that feeling of home and security. You're indoors and there's like light and nourishment, and it's a happy feeling. The 5. I like this too. It looks like the wands are starting to form a star. So there's this kind of chaos trying to come together in this depiction of the 5 of Wands, which is kind of nice because it gives you a lot more to work with than just kind of the conflict that's often shown in a traditional sort of Rider-Waite-Smith 5 of Wands. The 6 of Wands. The 7. I like this 8. I do like this 8 a lot. I always like it when you get more of a sense of motion in the 8 of Wands, or some kind of change agent, you know, actually depicted, as opposed to wands just kind of flying through the air. And the 9 of Wands. And the 10. I like this 10 in particular because I don't know, this guy looks so strong. You know, you can tell that he's working hard, but you can also tell that he can handle it, you know? And that's something that I really always like to see in the 10 of Wands, is that feeling of not just being burdened, but the fact that you're willingly handling that burden, because the burden you're carrying is something that you're passionate about and something that you want to succeed at. Here's the Page of Wands. The Knight. The Queen. I'm always so happy when they include the cat in the Queen of Wands. Love, love, love the Queen of Wands. And the King. Got his normal salamander down there. And very lovely. And here's the cups. And so the cups are all kind of blue, it looks like. So this ace is very beautiful. Whoops. And the 2. And again, too, I also always like it when they include the caduceus in the 2 of Cups, just because, again, it depicts that sort of healing and protection in a healthy relationship that is, you know, part of what kind of distinguishes the 2 of Cups from the lovers, I feel like, and, you know, in sort of depicting the most successful relationship in the tarot, definitely in the 2 of Cups, and I always really like that. The 3 of Cups, these gals look like they're having a blast. Always good. The 4, again, it's very, very traditional. The 5. You know, I do always like in a 5 of Cups when you have the river with the bridge over it. I like that there's a depiction of water there, and there's that sort of sense of being able to, you know, get past the sort of turbulent emotions that you're feeling as part of the 5 of Cups by kind of going over that river and getting to the house or castle off in the distance. So I do kind of miss that, but I still think it's a very beautiful card. And I like this 6 a lot too. This has a there's a lot that you can do with the 6, more so than I think in a lot of versions of the 6 of Cups that you often see. And the 7, lovely. The 8, I also like it when there's water in the 8 of Cups as well. You know, I like water in my Cups cards, but this still definitely works, and the image itself is so beautiful, and again, it's inviting. You get that feeling that she's going off on an adventure. And the 9, he's not man-spreading, love it. And beautiful, beautiful 10. That's just, I love that they're on a beach. That's just such a happy feeling card. Here's the page. There is a little fish coming out of her goblet. And the Knight, it looks like the Knight of Cups is a woman. And I really like that. I always like it when we can get a little gender balance in our pages and Knights. And beautiful Queen of Cups. And the King of Cups. I love this King of Cups. This is one of the cards that came up when I had my reading that was done with this deck, and I just was immediately drawn to this guy, and I love this image. I think it's really awesome. And so then we get into the coins, and there's definitely a brown cast here, even more so than in the majors. So here is the Ace of Coins and the 2. I like this. And I like, you know, because there's the lighthouse, there is a suggestion of the ships, which is an important piece of imagery to me. And the symbolism of the lighthouse also sort of works in terms of sort of guiding you through this, you know, this sort of balance that you're trying to find as you're kind of being able to sort of go over the top of the waves and keep everything in balance without being shipwrecked. Here's the 3 of Coins. These gentlemen are a little frightening looking, but you can definitely see what they're all about. And the 4. I love this 5. I love that it shows, I love that it's a dog, first of all. I react strongly to images of animals, but also that it shows him going in through the door. You know, it's like a stray dog finding his home, and I love that image for the 5. And the 6 here is very, very interesting. So I'm going to have to look at this a little bit more closely, because it looks like this woman who is begging already has what she needs, and so this other woman is sort of holding it out. So there is sort of that sense of the decision that you're making as far as like, how do you dole out your resources, and how do you determine, you know, what situations or people or you know, things and are deserving of those resources that you have to give. So I find that interesting. Here's the 7. I like that. The 8. It's very cool. Definitely a hard-working looking man. Beautiful 9. One of my favorite cards, one of everybody's favorite cards probably. It's very nice. And the 10, again, I love that it shows the dog and the warm hearth, and you know, there's branches sort of giving you that sense of the tree, and there's just this sort of total sense of warmth and satisfaction and success, and that's very nice. Here's the page. And again, we have a female page and a female knight. Oops. It looks like in the coin suit again, like that. And the queen, her rabbits and a goat. And the king. He looks kind of world weary, but definitely it's like he's worked hard and he's gotten his deserved level of success and comfort. So love it. Love it, love it, love it. Beautiful deck. I'm just going to shuffle it really quick and see how it shuffles. And very nice shuffle. I think obviously this deck screams out to have its edges blackened, so I will probably end up doing that. But yeah, it's nice cardstock. It's not too thick that you can't riffle shuffle it, but it's definitely durable feeling. And yeah, I am already in love with this deck. I sort of knew that was how I was going to respond to it. And I have a really good feeling about using this deck to read for people. It has a good feeling about it. Like it's going to be an accessible deck that's very, very readable. And yeah, I'm looking forward to working with it. So anyway, that's my newest deck, the Darkness of Light Tarot. A really beautiful one, and yeah, I'm so happy that I bit the bullet and got it. Again, it's making me already feel kind of inspired, and like my hands are kind of itching to do some work with it, so I'm very excited. Anyway, so thanks so much for watching. Have a great one. Bye-bye.